Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here. Today I have a playthrough of Sunset Over Water. This one is from Dr. Steve Finn and Pencil First Games, in which you are playing an artist. And you are going to be walking around this beautiful landscape, getting inspiration, and trying to draw as many of these artistic landscapes as you can. What that means mechanically is set collection. You're going to be walking across these areas, you're going to be collecting these cards and trying to match symbols with these goal cards. There are a number of other ways in which to score. Ultimately, you are trying to get the most impressive sets and the best collection that you can. On the One Stop Co-op Shop, we know what gets the attention and the clicks. It is the latest and greatest. It is the new hotness. It is the big Kickstarters with 17 expansions that comes in with giant boxes to your front door with minis and adventure and sci-fi and all that good stuff. We're happy to bring all that to you. Although every once in a while we'd like to pause, take a breath, and show you smaller games, games from a couple of years ago, but that are still in print, that you can still get, and are still really, really enjoyable. Ultimately, this is a quick solo game. Also works multiplayer. I'll explain those rules too. But if you want just a very pleasing experience at the table, then I highly recommend Sunset Over Water, as I'll show you in this solo playthrough. Let's talk about the One Stop Co-op Shop. We have our YouTube channel and our YouTube stream channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to both of those channels and like whatever the videos that you have enjoyed. We have our podcast, which is weekly. We have game-focused content, designer interviews, design discussions, hundreds of episodes at this point in our back catalog. Please go ahead to your favorite place where you enjoy podcasts and download the One Stop Co-op Shop. We have a Discord, which is a great community, which is active 24 hours a day, talking about the latest and greatest solo cooperative games, talking about new and old, expensive and cheap. We run the full range of discussion about solo and cooperative games in our Discord community. If you like the sound of that, it is safe, it is awesome, so many great people. Check the show notes below. The link to the Discord is down there. We also have our Patreon, which is a monthly contribution, which helps us keep the games in front of the table and the tech upgraded. In exchange, you get exclusive access to videos as well as channels in our Discord. But if you just want to be part of the community, it is completely free to join. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. Allow me to give a brief overview of the multiplayer rules, and then we'll get into the solo playthrough. Each player is going to get a Wandering Artist Meeple, very cute. Which will populate the board. And they'll also get a deck of 8 cards. This determines what happens in the game. So we have 3 elements on the cards. We have a time, we have direction and a distance in terms of the movement, and then how many pictures they can pick up throughout their turn. Playing cards is simultaneous. Every player is going to pick one card, secretly play it face down, and then they are going to put the other 2 cards under their decks to get played later. They will reveal those cards, and that will determine the order in which they go. You check the time. Looks like orange is a major early bird, so they're going to go first. This card says they can move basically in any direction, 2 spaces, and along the way, including their starting space, they can pick up 1 painting. Unless there's another person there. You can't just take paintings away from a person. But along the way, let's go ahead and pick up 1 thing. So we're going to go 1, 2, and we're going to pick up this seaside painting with mountain and water. There are 5 total symbols with sun and waterfall, all sorts of beauty. So then they got this card because they noticed that there is a contract there that is requiring a landscape with a mountain and a wild. And the patron will pay them 3 points for that. So they picked up this card, and immediately at the end of their turn, they're able to cash that in and score their 3 points. Green noticed that there was a slightly more valuable scoring card opportunity available to them. So they were able to take a later time, hoping that orange would not take their particular painting and instead go for their own. So then they are going to move up to 4 and grab 2 paintings along the way. They're going to go 1, 2, and grab these 2 paintings, which satisfies this higher scoring condition. So we have water, sun, and question mark. Order does not really matter. And we also have flower question mark. Bam, 5 points. You notice I did not refill the landscape throughout the round. That happens at the end of the round. So going first tends to be a case where you have the board in front of you and you could do something, but those tend to be weaker cards. The bigger cards are later and kind of depend on people not taking what you want. So there's that push-pull. Do I go early and get one thing that I want, or later and try to get a bigger score? In the multiplayer game, if you miss out on that bigger score by going later, you can always get these consolation prizes, be the last one to do something, and you'll get 2 points for that. Also, there are inspiration cards that will score you extra points based on how many of a certain symbol you have collected. At the end of the round, you will refill your panorama and go again, as I said, 6 rounds, and then the most points off of contracts and all the other places you can score points will be the winner. So there are a couple of rules wrinkles for the solo mode. First of all, you do get your inspiration card. However, you don't need a catch-up card. It's just you, nobody to catch up to. So we don't use those. In addition, the card play is a little bit different. You still pull 3 and you select 1. However, instead of moving the other 2 that you did not select under the deck, you're going to keep those around. You're going to play your 1, execute it, draw another card, and then play based on those 3 cards, the 2 ones you had last turn and the new one. In solo, you will be able to play all 8 cards as opposed to just the 6. So by the end of your 7th and 8th round, you'll have dueling options, and your 8th turn will be that 1 card. The solo one presents generally the same game, but with a different wrinkle to up the challenge of the solo. It is a high score variant, so you're not going to have active opposition. However, in the multiplayer game, the cards refill, so you're going to have a fresh set of 25 cards every single round. In the solo, that is not true. Once you take cards, they stay gone until you take one of 2 separate actions in order to repopulate the board. If you take an early action between 5 o'clock and 7:45 before you do your movement, then you can replenish the board. Also, if at any point during your turn you pass one of these ranger stations, then any card that was discarded that was around the ranger station gets repopulated. So it adds a little bit of extra strategic ideas for your movement. So you may want to go a certain place and go get those contracts. However, that would leave you very barren in terms of your overall game. So you might want to take a detour and go over the ranger station. I really love the push-pull movement puzzle that the solo offers. All right, so I'm ready to begin. I've dealt a fresh set of commission cards, and I've dealt myself 3. And I have the rainbow. This is early, middle, and late. So as you see, the late one, I would be able to go for and pick up 3 paintings along the way. That is super tempting. However, I would need to discard 2 commission cards. And I would start with the leftmost. So imagine for camera purposes, I have them in a square, but this is the leftmost in terms of its discard. So then I have 2 6s. If I did the 2 highest, which would be the latest card, I would discard this 6. I don't want to do that because for every commission card that has a flower, I'll be scoring a point, so I don't want to get rid of that. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and play this one, 1045, which according to the solo journal, I would discard 1 card from the commission pile, which is going to be this leftmost Suns. Get out of here. And so let's go ahead and move this way. Wouldn't do too much good to move diagonally because I have the ranger stations. This suits my needs just fine. We're going to go 1, 2. We're going to pick up these 2 cards. Reason being is that I know that this card is here and I want to set up to get that one eventually. I don't have to get a card every single turn as long as I'm setting up to be able to get multiple commissions at once. And I can get multiple commissions at once as long as I qualify. And so these will not get refilled. I will instead move these over, deal out this new card, and reveal a new one, which is just a flower. I think I can handle that. And that is the end of 1 of 8 turns. So I have my 7 and my 12-15. I deal out a new card, which is going to be 8:30, which is another mid-morning card. All right, for my next turn, I'm going to do a mid-morning action, which is 8:30. I have to discard the highest card. I was hoping to keep this one around, but at the beginning of the game, don't have enough of these. So let's go ahead and chuck this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to prepare to get these 2 5s if I can. That won't happen immediately. Those will happen on a later turn, but we are going to go ahead and grab these two because they're the types of cards that score 5 points. Hopefully, I get the right ones. Let's go ahead and refill this. I dealt out this one, and I got this one. Single flowers? There's no single flowers out here. Give me a break. The next card I draw is going to be even earlier, so I have two options for early cards that will replenish the wilderness and not take commission cards away. And so let's do that. We're going to play this earliest card that I have. Oh my goodness, 3 paintings. So that happens before movement. So then you fill top to bottom, left to right. And we got some doubles, which are cards that I could use. Yes! Nice. That's what I was hoping for. It looks like I know where I'm going this turn. So we are going to go 1, 2. I do not need to take the full movement. Enables 3, but I'm only going to move 2. And I'm going to take all 3 paintings that my artist butt has touched along the way. Yes, apparently I'm riding my buns all along the wilderness. So 3 cards in, let's do my first scoring. So then we have Waterfall, Sun, and Wild. And then Flower and Wild, that is going to be that card. And we discard that out of the game. I could, if I wanted to, take this commission as well. Once again, you can take as many commissions as you want. But I'm going to save that for this. Because this is low, it's relatively safe. It's not going to get discarded. Unlike this 5, which might get discarded next turn or soon. So I'd rather get this first and hope I can get another flower here. 3 cards down, 5 to go. And another early bird. Even earlier than before. So if I used a higher value card, a mid-morning or a later card, then I would discard this. I don't want to do that. I can earn that. So let's go ahead and use the dwindling resources and use the early bird. That allows for immediate replenish. That is not quite what I want. Not quite interested in that. No, looking for flowers. No flowers there. Skip ahead past the ranger station, don't refill anything, but I am going to pick up this one, which lets me play these 2 cards, discard them to acquire this commission, and I had my eye on you. We have these 2, which fulfills this condition. These are 2 wilds. Has to be 2, it can't be a 3. Rules are pretty specific on that. So I got my 3, or got my 2 symbols and the 1, and got that 5 as well. So that goes ahead and moves over, and we get a new set. Yay! Another 5-pointer with a flower. Excellent. But I will likely have to discard that because this is the last card that I have, which will replenish. These will discard 2, so I'm going to have to say goodbye to that 4 that I was looking for. I don't have another single flower there anyway, so that's okay. All right, time to, this was a day where apparently I took all my artist stuff, got my hiking boots, got extra sketch pads, but commissions have been taken ahead of me. So that is the trade-off. So then I would remove the highest and then I would remove the leftmost. Bye-bye, hardly knew ye. But I'm able to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go all the way down and we're going to paint 3 along the way. So I collect these 3 cards. So that is Mountain, Sun question mark, and another mountain, which is going to fulfill this commission. Let's go ahead and refill that. That's never getting filled. We'll see about that. And my next and final card draw is going to be mid-morning. So we have early morning, mid-morning, and later. These will be my last 3 turns of the game. Let's go ahead and do that mid-morning one. So that is 9:45. I will discard the highest one, which is this 6. I knew that was no chance of that. I can move 3 in a direction that is not horizontal. I was hoping for that. I've got to make do with what I got. So we're going to go this way. I passed the ranger station. So yay, more paintings that I can make. Ooh, big ones too. But we are going to go for this sun. Because with that sun and with this spare card that I picked up along the way, I'm able to fulfill both of these commissions. And I should have revealed that at the start of the turn. That's going to be that. Doesn't really change what I do because I am dwindling in options. So I'm just kind of scoring the best that I can. So let's go ahead and do that, that, and that. And this time, remember that I need to reveal that, which is, we'll see if I fulfill that. And so as I play my last 2 cards for the end game, I didn't mention this, but if I end in the middle, that's called returning home, that's worth an extra 2 points. So we are going to set ourselves up for that. Let's go ahead and do the early bird. We are going to move and end up in the corner north. That lets me refill the board, including the all-important card in front under me, which is going to be of no consequence. We're going to move there because it's the same exact card, so who cares? But this is the card that I wanted, which allows me to fulfill this. So we have Flower, Waterfall, and Wild, and also Sun and Wild, which is this 5-pointer. I'm doing really good this game. Let's move these around a little bit. These are so low that I actually have a chance to score. All right, so for the last turn of the game, I'm going to move 2 and collect 2. Before I do that, though, I have to discard the highest and the leftmost commissions, which are these 2. That's not so bad. Let's go ahead and move here. I would refill that. I'll just do that for the purposes like that. And I would take the 2 cards that were here. Once again, I am not eligible for this one because that is just a preview, but I am eligible for that one. That is my final score of the game. So I got 34 points off of my Renown. That makes 37. 38, 39 from the symbols. You get 1 point for every 2 symbols for unsold landscapes and 2 points for returning home. 41 points. 41 points on this hand-dated chart is a master painter. Woohoo! True Artisan is eluded my grasp, but I feel really good about that game. And I just feel really good about Sunset Over Water. When I first played it, this was, I guess, 2017 or so. It was one of my favorite games of that year. That year, I remember I came back to this one pretty frequently and played it. So it's been on the shelf for a little while. Took this opportunity to get it back on the table, and now I remember this is one of my favorite relaxing, pure solo puzzles. Simple, the movement I love. This one is a real gem, in my opinion. So if you think that this one is worth seeking out, I highly recommend Sunset Over Water. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop, reminding you that we'll see you at the next stop.